what's happening, people? Today we're going to be breaking down a dark melody sample. This sample and loads more can be found in the Jack Pack by myself and Dixon Beats, which dropped today. I'm going to leave links to that in the description below. Let's not waste any more time and get straight into it. So to start with, I went with a no pure piano and I went with a dark preset. I wanted this melody to have some bounce to it, so I set my grid to triplets when I was writing the melody. This is how that sounds with no effects on. So for the effects on this, we've got a high cut around 20 kHz, we've got a boost around 2 kHz, and we've got a low cut at 120 Hz. Then we've got a half time set to a quarter with the sustain at 53 milliseconds. Once those effects have been added, the piano sounds like this. So the next thing I added was this brass sound from the orchestra bank in Contact. It's called low Brass Staccato. So this sound was quite dry by itself, so I added a low shelf at around 180 Hz. I've added a boost at 300 Hz, and then a harsh cut at 1 kHz. I then added FabFilter Saturn with the Fat Parallel Processing preset, some delay from Fruity Delay 3, and then I've just turned the dry wet down in the mixer. And lastly, a Valhalla Vintage Verb with the mix set to 11%, and again I've turned it down in the mixer. And with all them effects added, the brass sounds like this. Next I added this atmospheric sound from Contact. It's from the Atom Bank and it's called Animu. This sound sounded quite good on its own, so I didn't need to add any effects to it, and this is how that sounds. Next up we got the guitar, which is from Session Guitarist, and it's the Pick Nylon. For this, I just took the chords from the piano and then made a basic arpeggio pattern. I then just pressed Alt and R to randomise the velocities. Then I added Guitar Rig with the Vocal Space preset, RC20 with a Vinyl 3 preset. I just like to turn the noise off and turn the distort down a little bit. Cymatics Pluto with the Moon 1 preset. I just like to click this drop down box and make sure the magnitude's turned down a bit. Then I added some reverb with Cymatics Space. I went with a Matrix preset and I've got my dry wet set to 29. Once all those effects are applied, this is how the guitar sounds. Next up we got a flute sound, which is from the Balkan Ethnic Orchestra, and it's called the Kaval 1. There's quite a lot of effects on this one, so to start with I've just got an EQ cutting out everything below 250 Hz. I've got a fruity chorus with a stock preset and I've just turned the dry wet down a little bit. I've added fresh air with 80 high air and 56 mid air, and I've just turned the dry wet down on this as well. A Valhalla Vintage Verb set to 6.4%. A fruity stereo shaper. What this is going to do is make the flute sound a bit wider. We've then got another EQ that's cutting out everything above 13 kHz, and then we've got a boost at 1300 Hz. Then we've got Cymatics Space, again with the Matrix preset, and the dry wet set to 18% this time. So next I come over to the Ancient World Bank, and I've got this triangle heart preset, and all I did here was slice the notes by pressing Alt and U and then made the velocities go up, and what that's going to do is give it a kind of tremolo sound. For the effects on this, we've got a guitar rig with the Black Sun Garden preset. I just like to turn the tube compressor and the gratifier off. and I've also turned down the dry wet in the mixer. Then I've got an RC20 with a vinyl free preset again, the noise turned off and the distort turned right down. The last thing I added was this trumpet from the Spaghetti Western Bank in Contact. All I added to this was Cymatics Origins with the 1900s preset, the noise turned off and the chorus set to 20%. So this is how the full loop sounds. So that's going to bring us to the end of today's video. If you liked it, make sure to smack that like button. If you're new around here, turn that subscribe button grey and click the bell next to it so you're notified anytime that I upload. Again, if you like this loop, then you can get it and much more in the jack pack. I'm going to leave a link for that in the description below. Shout out to Dixon, I'm going to leave a link to his channel in the description as well. If you made it all the way to the end, then big up you. Thanks again for watching and I hope to see you in the next one.